I'm Lisa, the artist behind Lachri Fine Art. It is Tuesday, so I'm here to critique one of your original paintings or drawings. If you have an original painting or drawing that you would like to submit for critique, head over to my website, lachri.com/critiques. That link is below in the video description, and you can submit your work there. Today's submission comes from artist Charlene. You can view more of her work over at her website, and I will have a link to that below in the video description. She has completed this horse in acrylics on a black canvas. The detailing of this horse and the shading is beautiful. I love that you did the high contrast. You've got those really strong shadows on the shaded portion, and then the lighter, you've even pulled the yellow from the background into the horse. Beautiful work. So let's take a look at a few things we can adjust to improve on this even more. First, you are so close to falling within the rule of thirds. Now, the thing about the rule of thirds, and I do have a video talking about that, I'll have a card pop up here, you can check that out. But with the rule of thirds, it's not something you always have to follow. If it looks better to make the adjustments, move things around as needed. But here, I think if you moved the horse a little bit more on that vertical line and then dropped the water level on the horizontal line to fall within those lines, I think that would make it an even stronger piece. But you're honestly close enough that it's still very well balanced, very pretty. Now, one big tip I have is to work on getting a better photo. And that is so hard when you have black or super dark colors in your paintings or drawings. You get glare from everything. It is so hard. Those little white dots, that there's a fuzziness that is, I'm sure, is not in your original artwork. What I do when I'm photographing a really dark painting, I take that painting all over the house. I take photos everywhere and try to get that glare out as much as possible. Certain lighting is going to make a big difference. Now, if you have a camera that allows you to adjust your shutter speed and ISO, that's going to be even better. What I do now, and it's so much easier now for me to get photos of my dark artwork or artwork that has black in it, is to mess around with the shutter speed and ISO. You will need to use a tripod, which you should be using anyway when taking photos of your artwork. But if you can mess around with those settings, it will allow you to take a photo in a much more dim room, but you'll still be able to see the detail you need. If your ISO and shutter speed have not been adjusted and you take a photo, that same photo in a dim room, usually the results are not very good. So being able to adjust those will definitely help, but if that's not an option for you, just try taking photos in different areas. Sometimes I'll take it in the backyard where I've got indirect sunlight, the sun's on the west, I'm taking it so it's facing the east and the house is behind it. And there are a lot of different things that you can try to get better photos of the darker images. They're hard, but it's definitely worth doing. Now, my next tip is on the colors. You did a great job of blending your yellow into the blue without having definite green. You've got kind of an aqua color going, which is very pretty. But one of the ways, if you want to fade a yellow sunset up into the dark blues and purples, the easiest way to do that, I've got a little bit of a formula here, so you may want to write this down. You're going to fade from yellow to orange, orange to magenta, magenta to purple, purple to blue. This gives you a nice transition that is just very appealing to the eye, and it is way easier to blend those colors to the color that it's next to versus straight yellow to blue. You go yellow to blue, you get the green tones. You can get a very muddy look that way, but if you can blend yellow to orange, those look good together. Your transition between the yellow and the orange will blend very seamlessly. Your orange to magenta, again, those colors look good together. You're not going to end up with mud. Magenta to purple, those just flow nicely. And then your purple into your blue. You just get a much nicer transition from color to color there that tends to be very, very appealing. And I think you saw the yellow to blue problem with the green that ended up in your waves in the water. This is another area. I would actually take those waves out completely. I think that they're drawing attention away from the horse and into a very odd location. Lose the waves, but here I would put highlights with the oranges and magentas or purples into that yellow, not the blue, not straight to blue, because you're ending up then with that green, which, yeah, you do have green sometimes in water, but it just isn't giving you a nice flow here. That transition isn't really working. Dropping the waves out altogether will help. The next adjustment I made is on the clouds. The clouds that were originally there, very dark, almost black, too dark up against yellow. Black up against yellow, unless you're painting bees, generally does not look very good. It's one of those things I will avoid more often than not. Now, there are exceptions. I've seen work done that is beautiful. It's hard to do. It is really hard to get those to look right. So with the clouds, instead of having the dark, dark black, go with purples. Go with other colors that are in that sunset. Those colors that I introduced, add some of those into your clouds and just tone them down a lot. It gives you a much nicer, softer feel, which allows your attention to really settle more on the horse than just the clouds going straight across the sky there. It's just too much contrast. Not something you hear me say all the time. Whenever I paint on a black canvas, I have used those. I have some here. Oh, sometimes I'll pre-paint a canvas black. I never leave it straight black unless I'm doing a pattern background. I guess there's a few exceptions to that where I'll use my damask background or something like that where I want it to be black and white or gray. But for the most part, if you're doing a background like this where you've got a sunset, you're on a beach, get some other colors into the black. Don't leave the black canvas straight black. Even if you want it to look black, glaze purple or blue or something over it so you have a tint of color. That way the end result does not look flat. That's very important when painting with black. I know a lot of people will say don't use black in your work. I love black, but I don't generally leave it straight flat black. It's always going to be mixed with another color, which gives me the depth that I need, but still is really dark like the black. Another thing that I've done here is because I have so many more colors that I've introduced into the background, I pulled that into the horse. And I think you already know to do that because you had pulled the yellow into your horse, but I would go even further. Pull the blue on the shaded side. Really let those colors stand out. When you're painting or drawing white subjects, they reflect everything around them, and it's one of the fun things about painting or drawing white subjects is that you do get all of these extra colors in there. And so pulling more from the background into the horse will make the horse just stand out that much more, plus makes him feel more like he's a part of the scene and not just cut out and stuck onto a background. This is beautiful. You did such a good job. I'm so impressed by the shading and detailing on that horse. Beautiful, and you did a really good job of blending your blue into your yellow, like abnormally good. That's very hard to do. And again, if you guys want to see more of her work, you can head over to her website. That link is below in the video description. Thanks for watching. If you're new to my channel, I have new video critiques every Tuesday where I'm critiquing your original paintings or drawings, my own speed paintings, drawings, and tutorials every Wednesday, art Q&A videos every Thursday, and artist vlogs each weekend. So if you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. And you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+. All of those social media sites are linked below in the video description where you can keep up with news, my newest work, and see real-time clips of whatever it is I'm currently working on. I'll see you guys tomorrow.